Welcome to our continuing series, Questions and Answers for a World in Crisis, from the words of Sri Aurobindo and the Mother. The Divine Presence, Part 2, from the Mother. Of course, even in unconsciousness and immobility, in the complete inertia, apparently, of the stone, one may find a dazzling light, that of the Divine Presence. But then, that is the state we were just speaking about. One sees Him everywhere, meets Him everywhere, and in so manifold and marvelously harmonized a way that all these difficulties disappear. After the silence, the movements of the body, almost in their totality, are habitual movements. Behind, there is the consciousness of the physical mind, what I call the cellular mind, which is itself constantly conscious of the Divine Presence and is keen on accepting nothing but that. So a whole work is going on for changing, shifting the origin of the movements. I mean to say that instead of it just being automatically the habit, it should be automatically the Divine Presence and consciousness that causes the movement. Mother makes a gesture of pushing the consciousness into the body. But it is quite inexpressible. That is to say, as soon as you try to express it, it is mentalized. It is no longer itself. That is why it is very difficult to express it. I cannot speak of it. I have had an interesting experience. Not last night, but the night before. Someone, whom I shall not name, told me, I am wholly down in the physical consciousness. No more meditation. And the divine has become something up there, so far away. Then, immediately, as he was speaking, the whole room got filled with the Divine Presence. I told him, not up there, here itself. And at that moment, everything, the whole atmosphere, it was as though the air had changed into the Divine Presence. Mother touches her hands, her face, her body. Well, everything was touched, pervaded, but with the thing that was particularly there was a dazzling light, a peace like this, gesture of massiveness, a power, and then a sweetness. Something, one had the feeling that it could melt a rock. And it did not go away. It stayed. It came in that way, and then it stayed. Krishna, the divine flute player, is the immanent and universal divine, who is the supreme power of attraction, and Radha, the soul, the psychic personality, answers to the call of the flute player. I am asked to say something this evening on the Radha consciousness. That is to say, in essence, on the way in which the individual soul answers to the call of the divine. But it is exactly what Sri Aurobindo has described in this chapter. It is the capacity of finding Ananda in everything by identifying oneself with the one divine presence and by a total self-giving to this presence. So I do not think I have to add much. What I might say would limit or diminish the totality of this experience. This experience is capable of changing everything into a perpetual ecstasy. Because instead of seeing things in their discordant appearance, you see everywhere only the divine presence, the divine will, and the divine grace. And every event, every element, every circumstance, every form changes into a detail by which you can approach the divine more intimately and more profoundly. The discordances disappear. The uglinesses vanish. There remains only the splendor of the divine presence in a love radiating in all things. If, in looking into the eyes of someone, you can see there spontaneously the divine presence, the worst movements will vanish, the worst obstacles disappear, and the flame of an infinite delight will awaken. At times in the other as well as in yourself. If there is in the other the least possibility, just a little crack in the bad will, that shines out. The psychic being is the individual sheath of the divine presence. It is found deep within oneself, beyond all thoughts. Feeling alone in the midst of human beings is the sign that you are beginning to feel the need to find in your own being contact with the divine presence. So you must concentrate in silence and try to enter deep within to discover the divine presence in the depths of your consciousness, beyond all mental activity. There comes a moment when life becomes intolerable without the divine presence. Therefore, give yourself entirely to the divine, and you will emerge into the light. The question should be put like this. Each one of us has a faith. For example, a faith in something. Say, a faith in the divine presence within us. If our faith were pure, we would at once be aware of this divine presence within us. The only safety in life, the only way to escape from the consequences of past errors, is an inner development leading to conscious union with the divine presence. The only effective guide, the truth of our being and of all beings. Namaste.